Yo, what up? This is D Knight, and you're listening to the Pardon the Interaction podcast. My oh my, we've had so much going on. For starters, in case you missed it, we've got a new addition to the Pardon Pie family, Tara Dublin. Make sure you go follow her on Twitter at Tara Dublin Rocks. Also, pick up a copy of her book while you're at it. Make her day, The Sound of Settling. A very fun and interesting read compared to the things we talk about on this podcast. But yeah, we're heading toward the do or die time for the 2024 election. Go ahead and hit up joebiden.com. Get that man like $1 a month or something. Help his campaign staff up and get prepared to try and save our democracy. And make sure to grab like one other person you know and tell them about the podcast. Make sure they subscribe and tune in every single week. We got a lot of things coming up for you this year. We need all the support that we can get. So if you do your part and help us grow our audience, we'll do our part and help elect Joe Biden in 2024 and save American democracy. And this is the Pardon the Interaction podcast. One, two, three, four. Hey, this is D Knight.
This is Carol.
This is Ty.
And you're listening to the Pardon the Interaction podcast. And this episode of Pardon the Insurrection is sponsored by Sheets and Giggles. If you were wondering if there was a way for you to get an incredible night of sleep while also staying woke AF, you can do that by purchasing some wonderful bedding and sheets from Sheets and Giggles. We hear they're supposedly incredibly soft, but Colin, the CEO of Sheets and Giggles, has failed to send us our sheets yet. So you just have to take his word for it.
He hasn't failed yet. He just has yet to succeed.
Also,
hashtag Colin 2024.
And the first indictment of a former president of the United States is also brought to you by Colin from Sheets and Giggles.
Woo, it's brought to us also by Stormy Daniels, Michael Cohen, and Alvin Bragg.
And Alvin Bragg. I needed her publicist, right?
No, I actually, is this like a person?
Go on.
So when everything went down, I was dating Brian. And after like the whole scandal like broke, like I was dating my space laser in LA.
Where'd you go?
Sorry, I'm drinking.
Oh.
But
well, okay.
Yes, as one does. We are having a celebratory evening.
Yeah, first of all, before you get to the story about why you hate Stormy Daniels' publicist, I feel like we should all toast to this wonderful, incredible day of celebration. The first indictment of a former president of the United States, first time in American history. Also, the worst president of the United States. So cheers. Toast.
Wait, you're drinking real liquor, D. You're not drinking beer tonight.
No, whiskey this evening with the splash of old fashioned mix. We don't have a sponsorship for alcohol, so I'm not gonna tell you what brand
yet.
Yeah. Let's toast to the first indictment of many. Cheers.
Indictment day.
Cheers.
All right.
Indictment day.
I love your melodies, Carol.
Indictment Day.
I didn't know Indictment Day came with its own theme song. Okay, Ty, if you would like to continue telling us your beef with Stormy Daniels' publicist, you feel free.
Is it her current publicist? I mean,
you know what? I don't know if she's still with Brian, but when the entire scandal happened, Brian was her publicist then, and he was like, he called me and he's like, this crazy bitch, like, because when it first happened, she was being booked everywhere. Everybody wanted to book her, whatever. And
yeah, she was the talk of the town.
Exactly. She wouldn't send this was like 2018. She wouldn't show up to the gigs, and she was being all. And I believe it. I mean, those fucking porn star whores are. They're
hey, now that is not fair and accurate.
No, not as far as because of their profession, but
she's a porn star hoe. You get it correct. She's not a whore. She's a hoe. And Stormy, we mean that with all the love and the affection in the world. Like, I'm sure you would also readily admit you've done lots of hoeing in your past. We have video evidence.
Look, sex work is work. I have
she's
no
working.
shame. I shame not.
Look, she's doing a lot more in bed than most people do for their day job. So I will totally agree with the fact that sex work is work, especially in this case.
While it may not have been her intention at the time, she is the now most famous honeypot we've had in the last, I don't know. I guess the other ones don't make it so obvious. But I was wondering why we don't have more of those.
Well, actually, the most famous honeypot.
Because we'd have to train children.
Is Melania.
Don't say Monica Lewinsky, Derek.
Melania is the most famous honeypot.
Ooh.
She got in on the ground floor and ended up in the White House.
No. Damn it. You know what? You're right.
Yeah. Okay, so for anyone listening, in case you didn't notice somehow.
From the cat house to the White House. That's her.
That is definitely Melania there. Okay,
from the cat house to the White House. That's.
I mean, look, those former Soviet bloc countries, you never know like what the relationship is with the Russian spy services and the beautiful women that end up in the modeling world.
I need to I don't know, copyright that title.
Yeah, an unauthorized biography of Melania Trump. You nail it.
Cat house to the White House.
Hey, look, put your journalistic accolades to use there. So anyway, for everyone out there who's listening, and in case you were unaware, Donald Trump was indicted in Manhattan by the Manhattan office. The indictment is currently under seal, so we can only assume.
Are you strangling a dog?
Or are you rubbing your cat? So Trump was indicted by the Manhattan District Attorney's offices. The charges are currently under seal, so we don't know necessarily what the ins and outs of the case is. We
don't know what they are, but we know how many there are.
Yeah, of
that one thing.
So currently, Trump is under indictment for 34 criminal charges. I'm personally going to assume that not all of those are felony charges. Some of those may be misdemeanors, but I'm sure you can do math. 34 is a lot more than how couple does.
Is a lot more than 0, so I'll take it.
Okay, first of all, yes, 34 criminal charges is a lot more than 0, but it's also more than the dozen payments that were provided to Stormy Daniels in her hush money agreement by Michael Cohen. Michael Cohen was reimbursed through the Trump organization. So we can only assume, just by the sheer number of charges, that there might be more than just the payments.
Oh, that Donald Trump.
Yeah. So you've heard of him.
Sorry, I thought you meant the 40-year-old cocaine addict. Sorry, 45.
Well, that's Trump Jr.
Is Don Jr.
Yeah, I beat you, Ty.
I'm sorry. Allegedly,
Steve Martin.
And apparently,
also was
Jr. with his hands and his. Every time I see his mouth, I think about something about Mary and the choppers that Matt they had. Literally every time I see his fucking face.
Well, now I can never watch that movie again. Thanks, Ty. You just ruined that for me. I'm going to see Don Jr. every time I turn it on. 1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Ty, you're in a really good mood.
I am. But I'm still good because I'm drinking.
So, how does everyone feeling about this news? Oh, I'm feeling pretty good about it. I can't wait to hear about all the stupid. Maybe we should do a segment about stupid fucking takes about Trump's indictment, so we can go see Republican politicians being like, "This is a witch hunt," and if they could do this to Trump, they could do this to. And oh my God, we're all fucked.
Wait, and a hoax. Don't forget that, because it's got to be a hoax.
Well, here's the thing. Any claims about this being a witch hunt or politically motivated or a hoax or a Trump not being guilty of
That's
any
just
of
the
his charges?
excuse of a witch.
Well, I would just like to point out that like a witch has already went to prison in this particular witch hunt. Michael Cohen already served federal time.
He did like 3 fucking years.
Well, he did like a year and a half, but he got out on under home arrest because of, complications with COVID at the time. But yeah, so if you don't remember, was it 2019? It was 2019. Michael Cohen was indicted by none other than Trump's Department of Justice himself for this particular set of crimes, of which he pled guilty. And again, received a 3-year prison sentence that was cut short thanks to COVID. Also of note, in that particular investigation that was ongoing, the order came down from Bill Barr's Justice Department once Cohen was indicted to no longer continue that investigation. So if you're wondering why it is that Trump skated as far as federal charges were concerned, well, there you go. He had his hand on the string. The Department of Justice, yeah.
Barr stepped in and literally tanked the Mueller report, and the Mueller investigation. He came in and was like, "Oh, there's nothing to see here." But there
Mueller,
was
I think that's like a store. It's the Mueller.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean that was one of the many instances of Bill Barr's interference with ongoing criminal investigations. I mean that's an endless story. We could do like an entire multiple episode podcast
on Bill fucking Barr and his assholeness.
Ellie Honig, I believe, wrote a pretty informative book on all the Bill Barr fuckery. If you want to purchase that, I would recommend the audiobook's fairly entertaining and informative. Go for it if you like. Ellie Honig's not a sponsor of the Part of the Insurrection podcast, so you don't have to worry about.
I like Ellie Honig.
Yeah, I enjoy him as well, and he's very captivating during his TV appearances as well. Very, very high energy and flamboyant for a former prosecutor, which I enjoy. Yeah. Anyway, so again, this marks the historic first indictment of a former president of the United States. Do either of you have any insight about what this means going forward for the rule of law, or what impact?
What it means is fuck around and find out.
Yeah, I was going to say, hopefully it's about to come down hard and fast. I want to.
That's how Ty likes to come. Yeah. I'm sorry. What were you? Continue. I apologize.
I think that the ball is rolling. It's far in motion. It was basically a race between who happened to be finished with their case first to indict. And I think it'll be fun watching, we'll see this trial go. And then somewhere even before it's done, who knows, he'll be indicted in Georgia.
For what might he be indicted in Georgia for?
Election fraud, was it?
Something along those lines. Intimidating witness intimidation.
Yeah, just trying to falsify the election and intimidate people at all levels of the government to do it for him.
If I wanted to influence someone to get me more votes,
you'd be like,
I wouldn't go with just one more vote. I'm I'm gonna wait for the stars. So that alone, that bothers me.
Does it?
Because it does. Because I'm like, you were so this low. That's where you wanted to go. I'm gonna be you know what? Can you find me 50,000? That's where I'm trying to go. I need this. Give me 50 grand. I'm trying to blow this shit out. I'm trying to blow her back out. There. That's what it should have been. But whatever. I'm sorry. I'm eating in the dark.
What are you eating? I've got goldfish.
I have whiskey.
Are you eating goldfish, Carol?
Okay, Carol is like pouring goldfish into her mouth and dancing like she's Stormy Daniels on stage at the strip club. And she's got like...
She's not a stripper. She's a pornography actor and producer.
Okay, but you may not also
Director.
you may not be familiar with her work on stage doing strip teases. She's also quite proficient at that. And,
I see.
And, as someone who is...
I wish I didn't eat that one from the floor. Sorry.
I actually have... Okay. I actually haven't consumed much of Stormy Daniels' work in like the porn department. I know, surprise, surprise. You probably don't even believe that, but I have seen her perform some strip shows. So I don't even know why I was looking in that. It wasn't for like, I don't know. I can't even explain myself. I just, whatever. But yeah. So one of the things that's happened since Trump has been indicted is the proclivity of the talking heads on the news networks to kind of downplay the nature of these charges against Trump, even though they haven't seen the indictment itself, so they don't know specifically what he's being charged for. But again, we're going to assume that it's related to Michael Cohen's hush money payments of Stormy Daniels. One of the things that's most important about this is it is basically the beginning of Trump's hallmark criminal activity surrounding cheating in elections. Right? This is basically Trump committing a crime to win the 2016 election that ended up making him president in the first place, that gave him the immunity from prosecution by the Department of Justice while he was in office in the first place. Yeah. So it's entirely possible that if he hadn't paid this money to Stormy Daniels to keep her quiet, and the news had broke in October of 2016, on the eve of the election, that this could have sank his campaign altogether, and we would have ended up with President Hillary Clinton. So I mean, I just can't believe. I don't know. Like the media, come on, guys. Look, I'm not a professional broadcaster. I don't have any media training, but I am like savvy enough to be aware of the consequences of this particular crime far more than most of the people that you'll see on TV. Like they're like, oh, it's just like, the salaciousness of his personal conduct. And as it pertains to a porn star, well, that's not the issue. The issue is like he laundered money through his private company.
Yeah, he falsified business records.
To hide a scandal that could have tanked his campaign. Like this literally, he basically won the 2020 election, or I keep saying that. He basically won the 2016 election, not by a popular vote, but by electoral college vote.
By a small margin, and losing the popular vote by quite a lot, a few million. Yeah,
he lost the popular vote by almost 3 million, but he won the electoral college vote because in a handful of states, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, what is the other one? Okay, see, maybe I started drinking a little too early.
Ohio, Florida.
Yeah, Ohio, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania. He won by a combined total of less than 100,000 votes. So if this story had broke in October of 2016, when Stormy Daniels had intended to go public, that could have been the difference in swaying the election in those 3 states. So it's a fairly not only is it impactful, but if you think about it, the idea that he could pay $130,000 to win a presidential election, like he should absolutely face consequences for that. Not to mention the fact that someone else has already paid the consequences by going to jail for crimes that were committed on his behalf. Ty,
Yes, you would think if there were any justice at all, it would be. Did you go back inside?
Yeah, what you doing, Ty?
No, I'm here. I'm just laying down now.
Back inside? You know we can hear the TV, right?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me get I'm looking for as Steve says, the clicker.
Okay. All right. Little behind the scenes here. I wouldn't call this an emergency podcast, but we didn't exactly know that Trump would be indicted today. So
indictment day.
Ty.
Yeah, if you recall, just yesterday on March 29th, 2023, Twitter was all abuzz with the rumor, obviously unsubstantiated, that the grand jury in the case was dismissed for a full month. So people were led to believe that there would be no action in the immediate future, except for our friend D Knight here. He gave us some words of wisdom last night and said that they could be reconvened at any time.
Yeah.
And I guess he was right.
But I was like, when I wrote the story today about whether he was going to be indicted or, whatever, Weisselberg changing attorneys, which is a big fucking story. Weisselberg dumped his Trump-paid attorneys and hired a different firm. So
yeah, you're not going to get good representation from someone who's paying for your bills and their interest is against yours. How could they even take his case?
But he's already taken his plea and he's already gone to jail. He's in Rikers. So why now? So that's a big red flag.
Yeah.
Oh shit. What the fuck happened? Because
he doesn't like prison, I guess, after all. He thought I'll tough it out. Right.
You know what? Oh my God, he doesn't like prison. Can you imagine?
Well, yeah, okay. Weisselberg was being represented by attorneys that are basically on Trump's payroll, right? And as of this morning, it's been confirmed that he's no longer being represented by those particular attorneys.
And then the indictment came down.
And then the indictment dropped. Yeah, now we don't necessarily know, what the correlation is there. It's entirely possible that Weisselberg could have decided that maybe under pressure of the possibility of being charged with other crimes by the Manhattan DA, that he decided to cooperate. That's a possibility. The second possibility is that the lawyers that were representing Weisselberg, even though they were on the payroll of Trump, probably giving him, under advice of counsel, that it was in his best interest to cooperate with the Manhattan DA. So I could see how, given that Trump was funding those lawyers, he might disagree with the idea that that's in his best interest, even though they're supposed to be representing Michael Cohen. So it's entirely possible that Trump himself could have pulled those lawyers. I guess the third possibility is it's just random coincidence. Maybe Trump was tired of them piling up the billable hours and wanted to replace them with someone less expensive.
He doesn't pay anybody. He don't give a fuck.
Well, that okay. Well, here's the thing: a number of lawyers representing Trump and his cohorts have been paid from his PAC. Now that he's announced that he's running for president again, there's some stipulation. Well, there are more strict legal stipulations.
That nigga ain't paying no motherfucking bills, okay? He ain't paying no bill.
Okay. It's difficult to argue with you there. Because you'd have plenty evidence to support that theory and very little evidence to the contrary. All right,
no bills.
But again, back to
no bills. What's that Destiny Child song?
Can you pay my bills? Can you pay my automobile bills? Can you pay my credit card bills? If you do, then maybe we could chill. Goes like that.
Okay, back to the behind the scenes moment.
Think you do. So you and me are through.
Okay, yeah. Okay, back to the behind the scenes for a moment. Yeah, since we didn't know this indictment was coming today, apparently Todd made some plans to hang out with her honey at the hot springs down in New Mexico. So she is joining us by phone in a robe at the hot springs. If you've seen
Chocolate, good for nothing type of brother.
Yeah, if you've seen any of Todd's thirst traps, that just go ahead and paint a mental picture there of that.
My cash app is #cool Texas chick.
What?
Yeah, no.
So Ty also didn't bring headphones and is outside in the wind, so that's why she sounds the way she does.
Yeah, Ty's on her phone outside in the wind in New Mexico with no cell reception.
So she's like, "What? It's."
So yeah, you'll have to excuse the audio quality here. We're doing the best that we can under these circumstances. Yeah, fun times. All right. So just all right, let me drop the podcast host bullshit. I just gotta say, I've been waiting for this for a long fucking time, and this feels fucking amazing. Cots of fucking quinces, god damn it. It's about goddamn time.
Fuck around, find out to the next level, and I'm here for it. Yeah. I want to see that fucker. I want to see some tiny cuffs, and I want engraved on those tiny fucking handcuffs, "America first," because that's what he fucking deserves. That piece of shit.
You want to see America some tiny cuffs? Look, I don't want to get in to the
or those little hands.
He deserves way worse than that, but people don't usually get what they deserve. So
that's true. But I'll take that perp walk, and I'll take the tiny cuffs.
I don't want to get into the specifics of his intimate moments with Stormy Daniels, but did she tie him up by any chance?
I was not there.
I don't know. According to her, it was pretty much as my first kind
of in and out
ex-husband liked to say, yeah.
Just the one time too.
But he would say, "Can we have some in and out?" That was his way. That was his
Ew.
That was his foreplay. Can we have
some burgers? I want
the
Shake
burger
Shack.
joint. Yeah. Well, I'm a fan of Whataburger. No, I mean, look, no one listening to this podcast wants this visual, but she did do some spanking. I didn't know if he was restrained or not. Anyway, never mind. Just forget I even brought that up. Sorry, anyone who's dealing with that mental image. I apologize. Just forget all about that. Yeah.
I was going to make a joke about a new PP tape being made in prison, but that would be in poor taste.
Yeah. I mean, I want to make all those kinds of jokes, but
and I wouldn't say something like that, and neither would you.
Yeah, comedic remarks about the perils of the prison experience as it pertains to sexual activity is frowned upon.
Yeah, no, for real. I don't think anyone should be treated like that, even Trump.
No, I'm not going that far. I think if anyone should be treated like that, it's probably Trump.
Yeah.
If we can't solve the problem, the least we can do is inflict that punishment upon the dregs of society here. The worst among us. Yep. So there is that. All right. So of note, given that it's funny, it's a historic day. Again,
Indictment Day.
Yeah, Indictment Day.
I'm not gonna lie. This shit makes me so fucking happy.
How much you make go prison?
I have been giddy all day at the thought of this fucker going to prison.
God's nipples are hard at the thought of Trump going to prison.
They are.
Okay, it's also funny that on this historic day, given that the news cycle will probably be swamped with nothing but news of Trump's indictment and the implications thereof, one Florida governor, Ron DeSantis, seized the moment. And
four-time winner of the Shithole of the Week award.
Yes.
He seized the moment and repealed Florida's resign to run law that requires,
Gee, why would he pass that? Like while the media cycle was consumed by someone else's drama.
Well,
it's almost as like he didn't want people to know.
Well, the implication here is that while this law was in place, given that Ron DeSantis is currently the governor of Florida and his term doesn't end until 2025,
the Florida Bureau,
that he couldn't run for president in the 2024 election without resigning from office first. Well, now that he's repealed that law, he's now eligible to enter the race for the 2024 Republican primary without having to resign from his office as governor.
Yes, but Mickey Mouse stuffed him in a locker today, so I'm so down.
Well, look, two steps forward, one step back in this case, right? So Ron DeSantis basically gets to run for president in 2024, but his opportunistic attempts to take over Disney and run it in less woke fashion, those have gone by the wayside. Yeah, backfired. Disney basically, their board basically passed a company statute that makes it nearly impossible for its board to have any influence on the actual running of the company going forward. So his plan to put some Republican shitheads in charge of Disney's board. I mean, good luck.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
You can go ahead and try that. It'll be of no avail. They basically neutered the board before they, like literally the day before, before he was set to put some shitheads in charge of Disney. Yep. So they got him on that one.
That's why, just like, we don't have an LGBTQ summit. Fucking couch, DeSantis.
They're like, we're going to make you have to think about the rule against perpetuities. Sorry, They brought in some very annoying legal concepts. So the rule against perpetuities, which I can't really explain, it's like an interest that has to vest. Needs to vest by 21 years after like a life in being, which I don't fully understand, but the way they wrote the language was 21 years after the last descendant of Charles III.
That was
so
pretty great. That was a nice touch.
I guess that's finite enough, I suppose. I don't know. I don't really see how that would apply because it's such a weird rule, and like that never comes up in my line of work. It hasn't come up since law school exams, but yeah, they sure that was the significance of the plus 21 years language.
I mean, they dug into old English law for that one. I was like, all right, that's great. And then like Charles III, of course, like, if basically. Even if he died tomorrow,
he went back to the fucking 1600s.
Yeah. Well, even if he died tomorrow, it would be like the year 2044 before.
Oh, the Republicans are going to start hunting the little children in the royal family. They're going to overthrow the British government for this.
We did that already.
Get rid of those little fucking cherubic freeloaders. That's the Republican point of view.
Yeah, fun times.
Don't feed them.
No, but the implications for this, as far as Ron DeSantis repealing that law, so he can run.
Sorry, you meant the revolution. I knew that. I was talking about sabotaging England.
No, I know what you meant. I was just joking.
I just wanted to be clear. I remembered that we had a revolution from England. Okay, go on.
I'm fairly sure conservatives are familiar with the concept. Their whole plan on January 6th was called 1776 Returns. So I think they understand the idea. I don't think they do. Which Well, they understand the concept as it
which is backed up
pertains.
by that whole concept, but whatever.
I think they understand the part where we were ruled by the English government and we overthrew the English government, at least in America. Anyway, no. So the implications of Ron DeSantis repealing the resign or run law basically means that he intends to run for president in 2024. Of course, that means he'll have to win the Republican primary. Of course, that means he will have to go through one Donald J. Trump.
Yes.
So he's covering all his bases. He's not hedging at all, or he's totally hedging, but he doesn't have to make any decisions. So how nice for him. Yeah, in fact, this is in fact him hedging, right? So if he loses the Republican primary, he gets to keep his job and run for governor. Yeah. So I just forgot what hedging meant for like a second, but it's fine. It's fine. One of the fun items here is that if DeSantis wants to be the Republican nominee for 2024, well, he's going to have to go through Trump, right? And I guess the easiest way for him to secure a victory in the Republican primary is, you guessed it, for Donald Trump to be consumed with defending himself in a criminal trial in 2024 as it pertains to these charges from the Manhattan DA's office. If not from potential charges stemming from Special Counsel Jack Smith's investigation and or Fani Willis in Georgia. Do you think Ron DeSantis is only saying he's not going to let Trump be extradited, which he can't do because, it's required of him? Yeah, by the United States Constitution. That's Article 4, Clause 2 of the U.S. Constitution. It's trending on Twitter, so I had it up. Okay, I was going to say I applaud you for, being a constitutional scholar and knowing exactly what Article 4 is trending.
She was Carol was so quick with it. I was like,
I already had it up because I was thinking, like, is he only saying this because Trump's spokesperson put out like their own statement today that was like, Trump will be cooperating with the district attorney and surrendering himself? Okay, well, here's the thing. I think DeSantis put that statement out like 20 minutes before. No. He put it out like 20 minutes before Trump's own people came out and said Trump was going to turn himself in on Tuesday.
Steve is asleep, and I'm going to microwave my leftovers so I can eat.
Okay, again, behind the scenes, if it wasn't clear earlier, Ty's basically on a honeymoon in the hot springs with her dude. And I do
not want to be fat shamed. I'm going to microwave my food right now.
Well, I'm assuming in celebration of the announcement today, she wore Steve out early, so she could spend time with us on the podcast. So she could make him fall asleep and finish her pasta. Of all the things Ty has gotten to take pleasure in today, that being Steve, Trump's indictment, and the pasta might rank number one.
The pasta's number one.
If she had to choose, if two things had to go and she could only pick one between the indictment, Steve, and the pasta, she might pick the pasta. But no, look, so this is basically shots fired from Ron DeSantis. Look, the Republican Party, of course, they've been married to Trump for the last few years, not because they have some, misplaced sense of loyalty in Trump. It's just basically that he controls their base. Like he's got. They are probably thrilled tonight. Well, I'm going to get to that. Sorry. Trump basically has a stranglehold on 30% of the Republican Party's base, meaning that barring some unforeseen circumstances that we've yet to foresee, come Republican primary time, if it's a crowded field, he's going to run away with the Republican nomination. So it's I can totally understand a scenario where other Republicans are just doing the math in their head, like Trump's going to have a lock on the nomination. They don't want to piss him off because he'll have them primaried, if they're up for re-election. And so they're like trying to figure out what side of this to fall on, right? I guess it's possible that some of them are thinking like, if I put my chips behind Trump and he loses the primary, I can just switch over to DeSantis or whoever does happen to win the primary. But on the flip side, there's also this possibility that, well, Carol, you were saying?
Oh, yeah. I just have to imagine that these people hate Trump almost as much as we do. I mean, they hate him because he's an obstacle. He's loud. He's obnoxious. He's in the way of them accomplishing their agenda. We hate him because of that agenda that they all share.
And he continues to cause them to lose.
Yeah. So I'm sure a lot of them are like quietly celebrating tonight. Or, I mean, they could be happy on one level and just completely freaking the fuck out because they know they're implicated in a lot of his crimes. Maybe not this particular case, but like I just watched a clip of Lindsey Graham on Fox News and oh man, his eyes are red. He looks scared. Man, he looks terrified. Like no sympathy for me, but like
okay, that picture of Lindsey Graham, it looks like my Lieutenant Governor, Randy McNasty, when he got caught commenting on that young gay dude's thirst traps on IG.
I keep forgetting you're in Tennessee, D.
Man, it's hard times around here, y'all. Like, I ain't even got to talk about what it is specifically that I'm talking about, but y'all, it's fucked up around here. Like, we got a lot of shit going on. Pray for me. I mean, I know that's what they said after, that specific event. And usually I'm like, fuck your thoughts and prayers. But your boy D over here actually does need your thoughts and prayers.